Welcome to the Eisenstein Effect. I'm your host, Vickie Eisenstein, and this is my guest.
Hi, I'm Linic. I'm a full-time writer with 2 books coming out this year. In February, The Awkward Phase. In September, Our Perfect Marriage.
That's awesome. That is really freaking cool. And do you want to introduce the dog?
I'm so sorry. Most importantly, this beautiful person on me is Obo Linic.
Oh, hello. Before we get into the interview, I want to let you know that we're doing a giveaway with Claire's book. Why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, so everybody check below because we are going to be having a giveaway of The Awkward Phase, which is a series of short stories written by me and a slew of amazing people, and Skyhorse Publishing will be giving away a copy for some of the viewers and listeners today. So
Yay!
definitely make sure to enter in for that.
Yeah, so just scroll down into the notes for this video and you'll see how to enter. Great. And enjoy. Let's get to the interview. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your books that you have coming out? That's so exciting.
Absolutely. So The Awkward Phase, the first one coming out, is a collection of short stories that started on a Tumblr that my coworker and I at the time created. We were working at a museum here in Chicago. I can't say which one, but I would tell anyone. They just asked that we not mention it because it was like written at work in the break room. So.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to have them say they own it or something, right?
And so we wrote this. It was a Tumblr that we created that, like, what we found we had in common was both very, bizarre or awkward, if you will, growing up. And so he was from Florida, I was from Nebraska, and we were just talking about our childhoods. And this project kind of came up and we had people submit, and it just kind of took its own life, became a live show, and then a book.
Okay. Gotcha.
And Obo's just pawing all over you.
So it's
Obo, my God.
So it's just short stories about growing up?
Yeah, people's most awkward phase. And then some people's right now, and some people's when they're 14 or so.
Okay.
We ask not to go under 8 usually. And the only stipulations we have is that 8 and above, that it's about you, and that you're not making fun of yourself.
Okay.
So it's more of a young adult book where it's not cynical. It's hey, this is what I went through and I'm fine.
Kind of like a chicken soup for the soul.
Yes. Hopefully, more cheesy than chicken soup for the soul. That's all I've ever wanted.
Great. And then what's the other book about?
So Our Perfect Marriage, my husband and I actually did together. And it's a memory book.
Wait, so your perfect marriage, the marriage that you actually have, or the book is called Our Perfect Marriage?
The book is called Our Perfect Marriage, and we fought so much writing it, and it was so embarrassing.
Really?
And we had 5 weeks to do this 160-page book, and we did pretty well.
Wow.
For being in the same space and writing it, but every time we fought, it was extra embarrassing, and I was very aware of it because we were writing a book called Our Perfect Marriage.
Yeah. Was it just your publisher was okay, you need a new book by this date?
No, so this is a different publisher who had read. It's a great it was awesome.
I am getting a
I know.
I so
feel like maybe you should have been a part of the interview.
This is for a different publisher?
This is a different publisher who reached out because she had read some stuff I had written online. A couple articles. And then she found out that I was dating Alan, and we had a Twitter together, and she's like, it'd be fun if you two did something together. And we kind of workshop. She's from Quirk Books, which specializes in nerd culture, which is wonderful. I think it's one of my favorite publishing companies. So we kind of together all came up with this idea of a workbook for couples to fill out together, about their marriage. There's some ad libs, Venn diagrams, anything you could ever want.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
So are you hoping to sell that to marriage therapists?
It's so interesting. So book marketing and crowdsourcing is all social media now. Really? So we send a free copy to the bloggers, and we're please review this honestly, whether you like it or not, and do a giveaway. So that one will probably go to wedding blogs. And it's so I had no idea, because in my mind, when I when you think about being a writer, at least in my mind, I'm I'm going to be doing these book tours and signings, and that culture is kind of dead. Really? They're you Oba, why don't you just come on down here? They're you can do that, but it's on your own penny, because it's not what's the most helpful anymore.
Really?
Yes.
But you do see sometimes, I guess it's the people with like a bigger name that do assigning now.
Listen, if I was Nene Leakes, they would be putting me on tour, but I'm not, and I'm very aware of that.
Well, you'll get there.
Yes. Almost at Nene status.
So do you have a blog then that you keep up? Is that how these publishers found you?
So...
Or is it Tumblr?
We had a Tumblr with Awkward Phase, and I have a wonderful lit agent that helped with that. I actually, like, it's interesting. Everyone I work with in the publishing world are just, like, really cool, strong women. So both of my editors are, like, amazing ladies, and my lit agent. And so it's just, like, a really great team that's, like, supporting and helping. And, like, if it was just me, I would literally get nothing done ever. So.
Oh. It's true, like without that support system in your career especially, it's like, Like
I thrive off deadlines. Like I'll just have like Alan, my husband, give me deadlines and nothing else is going on. Not usually, because I'd hate it if he thought that was like something that was okay all the time.
Yeah. But for your work though, it's really helpful.
Yes.
If you're like, I want to be able to read 3 pages from you by tonight.
Yes,
it's like,
exactly.
All right, I will get down to work.
And I can do that, like, but it was just like, if I was like, I'll just see what I get done today, it'd be like 20 words and a bunch of naps. With Obo. All with Obo. Obo doesn't exactly help writing, as you can guess. He's a slapper, so if like I have the computer or something in my hand, he just slaps it away from me.
Cute. He's like, who's more important? Me or the writing?
He's a very calm dude, but he needs a lot of love and attention, as you can see.
He's needy. It's okay.
Yeah, it's alright. So am I. I'm super needy.
All
this is like my...
This is a needy couch right now.
Yes, I know. Alan's always like, Obo's just you. And it's like, I have 2 of you. I'm like, well... Congratulations.
So how did you get into writing? How did you know this is what you wanted to do?
It was a complete accident. It was not... so I had a communication and a theater major in Nebraska, and I just moved to Indianapolis with like 1 suitcase and like 0 plans, and the only thing I knew I was going to do was take a class at Second City. I didn't have a job. I didn't have an apartment yet. I was going to sleep on a friend's couch. I went into improv and absolutely loved it. Like, didn't mean to, but really stuck with it for a while. And then that just naturally kind of led to writing on its own right.
Okay.
And that stuck with me more. And I was like, this is amazing. I can do something creative at home in my pajamas.
The dream!
Yes. And I almost always collaborate with people because I just thrive off that kind of team stuff, and I absolutely love it. Obviously there's writing projects together, that I do alone, and like that's fun. That has its own sort of fun, but I love collaborating with people.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah, so when you do collaborate, is that, I've always wondered for like writing collaborations, I know there are some people who have partners that they always work with, they work well with together. Is that what you have?
Well, I have what I would call like the staples that I will go back to write with, but then like I don't feel like I've hardly ever turned anyone down. It's like, we should just try this like weird idea.
Interesting.
And I might not do like 30 more projects with them, but I'm going to try that one weird idea. If I have the time. I unfortunately had to turn some stuff down that just like breaks my heart, and that's always the worst, but it's nice, still nice to be asked.
Yeah, definitely. So then what kind of projects do you have sort of on the burner right now?
Yeah, I'm working on, Alan and I won't tell any of the names or anything, but we're looking into getting into like children books right now.
Ooh.
Which would be, like, that was actually when I first started writing, that was my dream, was to do like children books.
Really?
Or, like, and that is actually probably like the least profitable thing you can do in the world, but it's what I want to be doing right now. So.
Oh, why is that?
I think it's because there's so many children's books that it's hardly like, I would say like once or twice a year there's a standout book or like a character, like Pete the Cat comes in. I don't know if anybody's read the Pete the Cat books, but they're amazing. And if you haven't, order them for yourselves, your nieces, nephews, kids. And it's just like a beloved character that, they do like 5 or 6 Pete the Cat books. I like literally just love children's literature. I have a nephew and I do like, I have another kid who I watch like once every 2 weeks. And it's like all day they just have to listen to me read because
That's awesome.
I need to go through your books. I love them.
Do you see yourself writing like a standard just regular old novel at some point?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to. What I would want to do probably is something science fiction. I grew up on science fiction. I just love it. I just need to have the idea, and I haven't had it yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was talking, I had Patrick Tomlinson on this, and he recently put out what's going to become a trilogy now.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, he was telling me he had his idea, and it was like one afternoon that he just like beat everything out. It was like just that inspiration.
It's so interesting because I can get really frustrated with myself. I think like 80% of my like writing career is just me being like upset with myself. No. But like I feel like that's just like a large part of the creative process, and I've come to terms with that. It's like, and then you hit this inspiration and it's like unstoppable. And I'm not sleeping. I'm like eating bananas for every meal.
Are bananas your go-to creative?
Yes. Just like potassium, girl. And they're so cheap.
Okay, all right. You see, I'm a chip person.
Yes.
When I am writing, I am just stuffing chips down my face. And then my keyboard's getting gross, and I'm just keeping going.
Yes, I'm all banana because I'm like, at least I'm being healthy. But it's totally not. Like, I'm not sleeping, and all I'm doing is doing like bananas and peanut butter.
There was a very famous banana diet in Japan.
Really?
Yes. So you are on the banana diet.
I love it. I've been on it for years. On
there you
complete
go.
accident.
If you're working from home as a writer, then what is your day like with your writing process?
So I definitely have what I call my peak hours of writing.
Okay.
Where that's like basically anytime I wake up, which dream is like 9 o'clock, sometimes it's 8 o'clock, sometimes it's 9:30. Sometimes it's 9:45. We just don't know. Any from then till 11:30 is like my peak writing time, and I can usually sneak it in other times in the day, but not like those couple of hours. And then a lot more of it right now is like correspondence and marketing and like how much social media is a part of it.
Yes. Cool.
So like it's so interesting how much of my job is like interacting with people on Instagram or Twitter, but that's where it's at right now, which I think is cool, and I think that'll change probably too in the next 3 or 4 years. So
gotcha. So hobbies?
Oh my gosh, Obo and I do so much. I play the accordion, and I also cross stitch a lot. So
okay, so I had Elizabeth Taylor on, not the Elizabeth Taylor. 1920s or 30s, whatever. But there's a lovely actress, and she brought out a sheet where it's like, you know, literally 30 things that she's done and that she's capable of. Like that, she's like a pilot. She's a sushi chef. All these things.
Oh my god.
And one of the things was
it's
accordion.
on her additional skills.
Yeah. And one of these things was an accordion. And I was like, oh, please play it. And she brought it out. And then she was like, I only ever play this in front of my husband. I'm embarrassed. Would you be able to play accordion for me?
Of course I'll play accordion for you. And that's how I got my husband.
What?
Yes.
You got him with your accordion?
On our first date, I showed him my fossil collection, and I played him accordion. And that's how you lock a man down. So I started playing when I was 6 years old with my dad, and we just did Christmas music every Christmas. And so it hasn't branched out much from that, but it's been so
Well, if
fun.
you would play me a Christmas piece, I'd be happy.
If you love Christmas, you're going to love my music. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Sing along if you know it.
Okay. Wait, I didn't catch this start. Did you want me to sing with you?
No, you don't have to.
Because I got where else I was like, wait, now we're too far in for me to sing.
What a song to ask someone to actually sing.
I was like, I'm not warmed up either.
This is like
I'm going to sound really bad.
meanest song in like literally America's history.
Do you have any advice for people who want to write and be awesome like you?
Oh my. Oh dear me. Okay, well, it's so cheesy, but like anytime you ask for writing advice, it's like, well, just write.
Yeah,
like that's the cheesiest thing, but I really am a big believer. And I joke, I do spend a lot of time being like, oh, I'm not doing enough, but like, I always say create and then critique. Because like, you won't get anything done if you like automatically hate everything you've done.
It's true.
And like, I try to go into business mode till 5 o'clock, and then I allow my feelings to come out. And like,
That's very smart.
Yes, and then that's when the wine comes out and my like self-deprecating, I didn't do enough comes out, but like not before then.
I have a hairdresser, she says at 5 o'clock, water turns to wine.
Okay. I love her.
I love her too. Well, why don't you plug for everybody where they can find your stuff? And,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I am on Amazon and what's that other big thing? Barnes & Noble right now, because it's just in pre-sale. February 2nd, Awkward Face comes out, and I think you can actually do pre-sale of Our Perfect Marriage already. In February, I'll be doing a show called Linic and Greg's at the Donny Skybox. No, it's going to be at the Beat Lounge at the Second City.
And then what's the Twitter?
The Twitter is at We Fought About, and the Tumblr is The Awkward Face.
Love it. Okay.
Oh, great. And Obo's at Obolinic on Instagram.
And he's really popular on Instagram. Like,
he's got dog friends on there.
There you go. So yeah, everybody, make sure that you are checking out the Eisenstein Effect. We got a new episode every week. Go to @Eisenstein EFCT on Twitter, or my personal Vickie Ironstone on Twitter. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube, and follow on SoundCloud, or subscribe on iTunes. All that good stuff. Yay! Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, girl. I loved it. I'm sorry about Obo.
Oh no, Obo was great.
Okay, he's just such a big. He doesn't know he's this big.